Okay, hi and welcome to another installment of Math Basics with Mr. Besh. Today, rational numbers, we are going to add and subtract them. Now, this is only going to be part one. I'm going to include future parts to this as the rational numbers become a little bit more difficult, mixed values as well as whole values. Today is just the basics. In math, you can add two fractions together if and only if their denominators are exactly the same. Notice my example here, my two denominators are both 5. Because the denominators are the same, all I have to do is take the numerators and add them up. Notice in my answer, 4 over 5, my denominator did not change. I add or subtract nothing with the denominators, only the numerators. And 3 plus 1 gave me 4. So 3/5 plus 1 over 5 would give me 4 over 5 as an answer. Subtraction works exactly the same way. If the bottom numbers are the same, just take the top and do the operation with those. 5 minus 2 gives me 3, and then I have 3 over 8 as my final answer. Again, notice the denominator did not change. Now, remember, if you get an answer, you still need to put it into lowest terms. The two examples that I did here on the board, both were in lowest terms when I got my answer. This is not always the case. Please pay attention to that. Every once in a while, you'll get two fractions where the denominators are not the same. And as a result, I just can't add 3 plus 2 and make 5 here. When I add fractions together, the bottom numbers, the denominators, need to be exact. And in this approach, I need to use my least common multiple. Now, we practiced this in school this year, and I know you did this in elementary school. The least common multiple are multiple values, and you did your times tables a long time ago. To find the new bottom number of these fractions, here's what you need to do. You take a look at the denominator of the first fraction and run off your times tables. If you have to on a piece of paper, write them down. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And then do the same exact thing for the second fraction on the bottom with the threes tables. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. And what you want to do is you want to pick the smallest number that appears in both of your lists. That smallest number that appears in both lists is your least common multiple. And when I do that for 5 and when I do that for 3, my bottom number becomes 15. So now, on each of my fractions, 15 is my denominator. To get the numerators, you need to ask yourself, what did I multiply the bottom by to get to 15? So in my first fraction on the top, 3 over 5, what did I multiply 5 by to make 15? And that is 3. So then what I need to do is take the top of the fraction, the numerator, and multiply that by 3 as well. So now 3 times 3 is going to give us 9. Notice, we're not reducing our fractions into lowest terms. We're blowing them up. We're making them bigger. Another thing I want you to notice is that 9 over 15 is the same thing as 3 over 5. If I gave you 9 over 15 on a test and said reduce that down into lowest terms, you'd tell me the answer would be 3 over 5. So please notice now we're not going into lowest terms. We're actually blowing these fractions up, expanding them, making them larger in both the numerator and the denominator by the same multiple. The second fraction I have here, the bottom was 3. To make that 15, I had to multiply 3 times 5 to make 15. So now I need to multiply the top of this fraction, the 2 times 5. And 2 times 5 gives me 10. Now, 9 over 15 is the fraction I add to 10 over 15 to get my answer. 9 plus 10 makes 19 on top. And then I have 15 on the bottom. Now remember, this is not a good answer. I can't have an answer that is an improper fraction, so I need to make my improper fractions mixed values. So to do this, remember, 15 goes into 19 once. 4 is my remainder, so that goes in the top of the fraction portion. And last but not least, the bottom of the fraction always stays the same. So now my final answer here is 1 4/15. Okay? Show you another one real quick, except this time we'll do subtraction. It's done exactly the same way. Two bottom numbers, think about the times tables. Remember, if you have to write them down, write them down. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, so on, so on. Then the twos, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And then what you're going to do is, once you get the value that they both have, the smallest value in both of those little charts, that's what it's going to be. And I know some of you look at it and say, it's going to be 18, Mr. Besh. And you are absolutely positively correct. 18 is right. Now to get the top numbers, remember, 9 times 2 made 18 in the first fraction, so then you have to multiply the top 8 by 2, and 8 times 2 comes out to be 16. Then on the bottom, 2 times 9 gives you 18, so now you got to multiply the top by 9, and 1 times 9 would give us 9. Last but not least, we got to subtract now. So then when I subtract, 16 minus 9 is going to give me 7. And again, the bottom of the fraction always stays the same. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how I add and subtract fractions, whether they have the same denominators or different denominators. I hope you found this both helpful and informative.